in how much time will my matter be taken up before the Delhi High Court. Now this is something which might not seem very complicated in most other courts, like the Delhi district courts, which I visit quite often, and even the Supreme Court of India. But the Delhi High Court is a little different story, and you can sometimes be taken in for a surprise when you are expecting your matter to come up after, say, maybe half an hour because of its number being there in the list accordingly. But it turns out that your matter came up either just 5 minutes into the judge sitting, sometimes maybe after 4 hours after the judge has sat down. The reason why I say this is because the lists that are called cause lists in the Delhi High Court work a little differently compared to other courts. Say for example, in the district courts and the Supreme Court of India, if you say the list starts from 1 to say maybe 80, item numbers 1 to 80, you will have the first item taken up, then the second and the third, and then so on and so forth. But in the Delhi High Court, this is something which is very important for you to remember, is that first the list, which is called the supplementary list, sometimes also called fresh matter list, is taken up first, and then what is called advanced list, where the numbers start from 1 and 2 and so on and so forth, are taken up, and then there is the regular list that we have to deal with. To elaborate on it a little, what happens is that, say for example, a matter has already been heard and arguments have taken place, the judge has given an adjournment for some day such as today. So let's assume 1st of September 2022. Now, because on the earlier occasion the date for 1st September 2022 was already fixed by the Delhi High Court judge, so you know well in advance that it's going to be 1st of September 2022. So even a week prior to 1st of September 2022, the list, the cause list, will show that the advance list begins from item number 1 and 2 and so on and so forth. And say for example, your item comes at, say, somewhere about item number 25 in this advance list. But what happens is that 1 day, 2 or 3 days prior to the date of the hearing, that is the 1st of September 2022, what's going to happen is that there will be several fresh matters, fresh filings which have been done in the past few days, which have been cleared for 1st of September. And those will be, say for example, if the advance list goes from item number 1 to item number 30 and you are at advance cause list number 25, the supplementary list, the fresh matters which have been filed very recently, the court in its wisdom saw it fit that a fresh item, a fresh matter should be put up before the honorable court first, and then the earlier matter should be taken up. So say for example, item numbers 31 to 40 are fresh filings, and they have been filed and they come up in the list a little later because the advanced list is already set from say 7, 8, 10 days prior. Now here what's going to happen is, when the judge sits at 10:30 AM precisely, the first item which will be taken up will be from the fresh matter / supplementary list. Therefore, at 10:30 precise, item number 31 will be taken up. The matters will go on till item number 40, where the supplementary list ends, and thereafter advance cause list item number 1 will be taken up, and then your item number 25 will be taken up in due course. And this is very important for you to know, because on a lot of occasions this has happened, that you, my friend, have item number 35 and you think that the list will start from item number 1, and because item number 35 will take a good 3-4 hours, you think that you can come to the court late. But instead, your item is actually maybe just 5 items later and might show up at maybe say 10:45 or 10:50 AM. And this is something which a lot of people struggle with on a lot of occasions, and that is something that you need to be careful of. Regular cause list is another ball game altogether. If your matter is showing up in the regular cause list, it means that this regular cause list has been defined for the particular week. It is now there as part of the cause list. If there is sufficient time for the judge after dealing with the supplementary and the advance list, then you go for the regular cause list. But a lot of times what happens is that the judges are so busy, especially in the pandemic situation, that they say we are not going to be touching the regular list. But still, if your matter is there featuring in the regular cause list, you need to ensure that you coordinate with the court staff and you are there if the matter just in case is taken up, because you do not want your case, which has been pending since the past 5, 10, 15 years in the regular, in this list, and it now has come up for regular list. It is dismissed in default because of your non-appearance. Another couple of things that people should be careful about when they're thinking about or when they're contemplating when their matter will be taken up before the Delhi High Court in the list. A lot of times in the list itself, there will be matters which are listed together, and it is mentioned that these are connected matters. Say for example, item numbers 12 to 16, they are there in the list, but right above 12 it will be written connected matters, and then from like 17 onwards there'll be some other this thing. If you're not careful and you are thinking, all right, my matter, right now item number 11 is going on, my item is say maybe item number 18, and so I have sufficient time, I have 5-6 hearings in the middle before my hearing comes up. All of a sudden you'll realize that 12 to 16 being connected were taken up and disposed of together in maybe 30 seconds or a minute or two, and then automatically the matter goes to 17, and then very next matter is 18, where your matter will be called out far sooner compared to what you were earlier contemplating. And finally, when we are talking about trying to calculate the time frame, the time period approximately at which your matter will come up, it is very, very important to also understand that some judges of the Delhi High Court are very, very fast, and some judges are, I wouldn't call them slow, but they take their own time to listen to arguments properly and to come to a just decision. Say for example, the Court of Justice S.P. Garg, who retired a few years ago, but I appeared before him on a lot of matters, was famous among practicing advocates for having wrapped up the entire court proceedings within a half an hour. So if you're not there at 10:30, despite your matter being at item number 50 or 60 or whatever it is, if you show up at 11:02 a.m., the court will be completely empty, and the court staff will tell you that Justice S.P. Garg sat at precisely 10:30 a.m., allowed, dismissed, issue notice, ABC, whatever decisions he had to pass, he passed in all the orders, and now he has kept only 3 or 4 cases to be heard and finally decided, and he will sit in another say 5 or 10 minutes and he will hear arguments at length by the counsels in these 2, 3, 4 matters for the rest of the day. So you have to be extremely careful. And if you ask, why do I need to bother so much? Why doesn't my lawyer just show up at 10:30 a.m. and sit there till the matter comes up? Well, advocates have many matters on a lot of occasions before different courtrooms, sometimes before different court complexes. So it is very, very important for all advocates and their clients to understand what is the possible time around which the matter can be taken up, so that there is no possibility of you missing your matter.